Somewhere over the Peruvian rainforest, a 17-year-old girl is falling. She is strapped into a row of 3 airplane seats. There is no plane around her anymore, just the wind and 2 miles of open air between her and the jungle floor. It was Christmas Eve, 1971. Julianne Kopka and her mother were aboard Lanza Flight 508, heading into the Amazon to meet her father. They had taken the flight despite the airline's history of crashes, simply because it was the only ticket left. At 21,000 feet, the aircraft hit a severe thunderstorm. Lightning struck the left engine, and the airframe, pushed past its structural limits, disintegrated in midair. Of the 92 people on board, 91 died. Surviving a 2-mile drop without a parachute defies standard physics, but landing alive simply traded the violence of the storm for the slow lethality of the rainforest floor. Julianne regained consciousness the next day. She was alone on the jungle floor, suffering from a concussion, a broken collarbone, and deep gashes. Her survival depended on several mechanical variables. The 3-seat bench acted as a crude glider. As it fell, it caught powerful updrafts within the storm and began to rotate, creating enough aerodynamic drag to significantly slow her terminal velocity. The final deceleration came from the forest itself. The Amazon canopy is a dense, multi-layered vertical structure. Julianne described the treetops looking like heads of broccoli as she rushed toward them, the branches breaking her fall progressively before she hit the ground. While physics and luck saved her from the impact, escaping the site would require a deliberate, active strategy. She was entirely alone. There was no wreckage to scavenge and no other survivors. Her only resource was a single bag of candy she found in the dirt. However, Julianne was not a typical teenager. She had spent years of her childhood at a remote research station in this exact environment, raised by parents who were experts in the biology of the Amazon. She fell back on a cardinal survival rule her father had taught her: find moving water and follow it downstream. In the rainforest, human settlements are almost always built along rivers. Panic often leads survivors to wander aimlessly through the dense, tangled undergrowth, a mistake that is almost always fatal. The river offered the only rational path out of the deep jungle. Her focus on the water provided a logical exit strategy, replacing the chaos of the jungle floor with a singular geographic objective. For 11 consecutive days, Julianne waded down the winding Amazon waterways. Navigating meant constant exposure to heat, starvation, and piranhas lurking just beneath the surface. The biological toll was severe. Flies laid eggs in the open wounds on her arm, and maggots began to hatch beneath her skin while she continued to walk. On the 11th day, while half delirious, she reached an empty logging hut and a canoe. She was found there by Peruvian loggers, who provided first aid and transported her to safety. Even as her body underwent extreme biological stress, her strict adherence to a geographic rule overrode her physical deterioration. To this day, Julianne Kopka remains the sole survivor of Lanza Flight 508. She is one of the few people in history to have survived a fall of nearly 2 miles into the jungle canopy. Despite losing her mother and nearly her own life to the rainforest, she chose to return to the environment that had defined her childhood. She became a mammalogist and eventually took over the leadership of the same research station where she had first learned the survival skills that saved her life. She remains unsentimental about her experience. She has spent much of her adult life seeking a purely logical, scientific explanation for why she lived when everyone else on the flight died. Julianne's story demonstrates how the impossible is survived through the breathtaking intersection of sheer, unpredictable luck and cold, applied knowledge.